if I find it with the Philip Wafula, how strong is he? Well, Bobi Wine is like any other Ugandan. He has been a presidential candidate. He came second, yes, but let's not pretend as if we live outside Uganda. The kind of political culture some of these actors have brought is that his politics is associated with radicalism, extremism, belligerence, defiance, and we all know, like I said in the statement, where in his campaign, he was saying this is a protest campaign. He was even urging supporters to mobilize the vote, cast the vote, defend it, demand it in a manner that was inciting the public that in case he doesn't win, then something should be done. Any responsible government will not take those kind of threats lying down, especially judging from our history where we have had cases of post-election violence and we have lost lives. So government has a duty to protect all of us. And you being a candidate at any level should not be a license for you to threaten me. A political contestation should not be a ground for you to incite violence and cause harm to others. Now, the reason why security has deployed home is basically for monitoring purposes, because there is adequate intelligence information regarding what was being planned to cause insurrection. But nobody has chased him from his home. Like I have said before, he's free to be in his home, provided there are 8 candidates. The others are at home living peacefully. He is not wanted by the state. He is not wanted by police or any state institution. If he has chosen to go into hiding, that is his decision. And we are not bothered. We know where he is. If we wanted him, we get him. But at the moment, nobody wants him. So if he hides, whether in a banana plantation or in somebody's home, that is his freedom of going. If you run your troops that after the vote, we demand our vote, how can you demand for little hiding? You want mind to be on the forefront to confront security. Why? Doesn't he know those children who are dying have parents? They also have brothers. I think he should stop the games. If he thinks his votes were rigged, or if he thinks there were irregularities which made him not win, he can go to courts of law and challenge what happened. There is sufficient time to gather evidence and you go to court. You cannot be a president of Uganda unless Ugandans have voted you. Whether he goes into hiding during the day and the night, that will not make him a president of Uganda. What will make you a president of Uganda is going to the people cast the ballot, they count the votes, you get the biggest percentage and you are declared. There is no shortcut. So thinking that the or other activists that might be as well daydreaming. So, like I said, is hiding from his own shadow, not from the forces of the state. So is this strong? Not at all. But we have a duty to protect Ugandans. If there is information that anybody is organizing to engage in criminal activities which threaten our security, then the state has a duty to ensure that you and I are safe from those criminal intentions. So it's in that regard that it is light security at his breast just for monitoring purposes. But his family is free to live at home. Now, internet shutdown. We know digital services now play a very critical role in our economy. And almost whatever we do depends and relies on digital down. It causes economic losses, not only to institutions, but even us as individuals. But at the same time, government has a duty to balance economic interests, but also security interests. And when we looked at it, we knew there would be losses, but again, it was important to disrupt the digital service, the internet, for the sake of security of you and I. Because like I've said, there was information available where some criminally intentioned people wanted to use social media and digital platforms to disrupt public life. And I do not know whether you would think it would be proper to allow that disruption, which could even result into death, that we let it happen simply because we have to protect the economic benefits out of it. So it was a question of balancing, but we had to do it even when it had to inconvenience all of us, even us, the actors who were taking the decisions that inconvenience, but it was for the good of everybody. But luckily, we have now restored the internet and we monitor the behavior of those who have criminal intention. So we appeal to Ugandans to understand that it is not just mere fashion that we cut off internet, but because we have a duty to protect everybody and wouldn't want to allow people to use technology to disrupt public life. But also, I will be speaking the media in advanced stages of acquiring superior technology, which will help us maybe in the future not to cause this kind of shutdowns, but we do it using more sophisticated technology than maybe the way we did it. But I just want to understand the context under which internet had to be shut down, because we who live in Uganda have witnessed the death following elections, and we don't want to die. The biometric voter verification kits failing. We have done everything to procure the kits because the intention of the biometric voter verification was to ensure that whoever comes to vote even problem with the court. And unfortunately, that caused a delay, but we have taken a decision to have elections go on. It didn't have major implications because still the electoral officials had to use the register to identify, and each candidate expected to have strong agents who would ensure that the person who has come to vote is actually the voter. So we still achieved our intention. Nothing much was lost, only that we didn't do the mandatory verification using technology. Fortunately, in the subsequent local government elections, the technical hitch was rectified and the machines are now working. So in my view, I chaired the committee of checking biometrics. Sometimes the disaster happened. Who speaks for government? I am speaking for it now. But you see, we have different departments in the government, and we have spokespersons, especially who speak for those departments. But the Ministry of Information takes the overall spokesmanship of the government of Uganda on behalf of the president, of course. So when I come to speak to you, I am telling you the position of the government. I know the concern you are raising is related maybe the tweets that the CDF occasionally puts out through his handle, but I have, for the umpteenth time, clarified that they do not necessarily constitute the official position of the government of Uganda. Many he puts on social media in his guarded or the as the government of Uganda, even UPDF as an institution, if it is formally communicates an institutional position, it is a formalized way. So you should not read much. We write many things on social media. Even me, I hold conversations on social media, on WhatsApp, but you cannot say whatever I have put on social media is government communication. Or if I attend a wedding and address guests simply because I'm the Minister of Information, you can't say my address at the wedding in the official position of the government of Uganda. So you must learn how to distinguish some of the comments which are casual, but also statements which are institutional and which are official. But overall, we retain the position as the Minister of Information to speak for the government. So in case of any doubt regarding a communication from any department of government, please you refer to us as the Minister for communication to clarify. But internally within the government, we continue to build the capacity of our officers in the various agencies and departments to appreciate how to streamline communication. And I agree in order not to confuse the public, because when different departments of government issue information which appears contradictory, then you will be at a loss. You are the media and maybe also the public. So internally we have our own mechanisms for how we streamline how communication comes out. But whatever we write on social media, I'm sure you are competent enough to distinguish between what is official and what is not. We can have, there are these chats, WhatsApp chats, and then we also get him to comment and put comments. But you're not going to lift whatever personal and casual comments we put and say this is the government position. So if there's a government position to be repeated, we shall always say so. Like I've said, Bobby Wine is not one by the state. That is the position of the government of Uganda, and he's free to live in his country, to be in his home. The deployment light has at his home is not there to harm him, but rather to monitor the security situation in the country. I hope I have answered all your questions. Okay.
By democracy, the associate the whole music. Thank you, Honorable. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Now I have to follow up what you say. And this year, only 11 million turned out votes.
How many last time?
The other time there were 10 million.
10 million.
And then this time, 11. And those who have not voted this time around, 10 million. As government, have you made the assessment to find out why this not turned out? Because it's
Onalebo n'akalala akasembayo. Ennaku zino mu kiseera kino ekyakalulu tuzze tulaba nga waliwo okukwatibwa kw'abantu mu budde obw'ekiro nga tetunnatuuka yadde essaawa ne bw'oba ovaawa era bakwata ne bagamba nti oli ku idle and disorderly. Ekyo bazijjukira batugamba kyafaawo mu ggwanga lyaffe. Eyanziza
waliwo bamanyiwo
Onalebo mu bitundu eby'Ensalaama, Masajja-Nikutammadda, Nsambya babakwata, abasinga bali twabaggyeyo eggulo e Namasula mu Kikajjo, abalala e Kabalagala n'ebitundu ebirala gye Sisula.
Honorable Science Okulaba. Nze Mulangira Ddembe yona alipoota news. Honorable news n'ebisatu. Ekibuuzo ekisooka abantu bagamba nti benaali mu gavumenti mw'ova ate yeyagala okutabangula eggwanga. Ow'NRM abadde asembye ne bamukyusa n'afuuka Nambeera. Kyakirabako wano e Kololo emukono kyabajulikaninga okusa n'alangira omuntu wa Nuupu ate olwamaze ab'NRM ne bayingirawo. okakananga we nalema mulangi ate bulugo esaagala omwega bwana naawe yakukosa wali ekololo wanaliwo n'ogamba pulezidenti akiika nziba naliwo nakwerabirako. Ekibuuzo kyange ekyokubiri, abantu bagamba kati nawo government is deliberately delaying political prisoners. Nga Dr. Kiza Besigye bamuwanga Kivumbi nabo bagenda abantu bagamba they are anticipating bagenda kufundikira amaze emyaka 5 with this court circus. Obujulizi tebuliwo, court martial, bicheze excuse zemuwa ne technocracy zemuwa. Abantu ne bafundikira nga justice today. So justice ina. Bayo. Nkyala Bob Wine babichaba. Yo. Tubadde baagala kutta mwana we. Ebintu ebyo simanyi baba bimudde tusaba bitangaza. Webali.
Honorable Watukumawo. Abirinda nedda nzenga ola kusoko
So thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Kawa, PBC, was asked about the law voter turnout. I can't claim for now that I have a scientific response or a response that is based on scientific analysis as to why many Ugandans do not show up to vote. But definitely there are various reasons which we shall have to study and see. Voting, first of all, is optional in Uganda. It's not mandatory, it's not compulsory. You can register as a voter on polling day. You may choose to vote or you may not. So we have to study clearly what is demotivating Ugandans from going to cast the ballot. If I take my own example where I come from, there are many people in my constituency who do not live in Chinchizi, and they were calling me saying, can you send us transport? We are in Kampala, we are registered. We are in Toro, we work in Toro. We work in Kasese. Even within Kanungu, we are the other part of the constituency. And I could not afford transport. So someone now weighs, should I pay my 50,000 to just go and vote? There are those who put a lot of value on their voting. Then too, in some areas, some sense of complacency. Like where I come from, NRM is dominant. So people will say, whether you vote or not, NRM will win. President Museveni will win, he has majority. So they don't appreciate that, yes, even if he's to win, he should win with your support or with your support. Then also the behavior of some political actors can also scare away some voters. Like the campaign I have referred to, where members of our sister party group were saying, when you cast your vote, remain there, protect it. The insinuation was, if need be, cause violence, so we win. So that can scare people. Say, oh, it's like to be violent. I would rather keep away. So we have studied all this, but again, we need to heighten civic education. We must invest in civic education so that Ugandans know that is their constitutional and democratic right to participate in choosing their leaders. Because interestingly, we find those who are not coming to court are the ones making noise. Poor governance, they're not giving us services. If you have not participated in voting, then how do you hold me accountable? So I think we have a lot of work to do, and we shall have to work with you, members of the media, we are going to study this voting behavior. But I am just hazarding some of the possible explanations as to why once we get the technical driven reasons to the machine is ready to work, deliberately deployed or indeed a technical glitch, and which technical glitch? First of all, it was at the insistence of the president himself that we introduce mandatory use of the biometric voter we even brought some for the cabinet and because you remember he had a complaint that in the last elections there was cheat, he was cheating. That was his concern, that we should tighten the voter verification and use technology and ensure that one person, one vote is upheld. That was the intention. Therefore, it couldn't be the same president or the same government that can turn around in the night and say don't use. What we wanted was to use those machines. Like I have said, I haven't had a physical discussion with the technical people from like what was on phone that morning, but I am yet to be briefed. Well, I've just come from a country just the other day, but I just want to dispel that assumption that the government may have reneged from its own decision of using the biometric voter verification because we don't believe in cheating. Then I am. And then we protect that vote. The technology doesn't make sense, does it? Because nobody had forced us to procure those kits, and we're now using them. So the reason why we are introducing technology is to ensure that we observe the one person, one vote principle. But the technocrats will tell us what could have happened. Now, Ronald from NTV, you asked Uganda. Let me first answer in English. I will also put Uganda version after. Regarding how many people have been arrested, I don't have the statistics yet. I will yet sit with police and security agencies to establish how many have been arrested. And I didn't make reference to any statistics, but I see those who are involving themselves in criminal activities, especially with a view of destabilizing our communities after elections, are being apprehended. Now, you say people are being arrested at night for idle and orderly. Maybe it's part of the patrols that may be happening. But we again appeal to the police and arresting officers. And when you arrest somebody, you should identify yourself and do the arrest within the confines of the law. And the person arrested can be gazetted detention center and handled in accordance with the law. As government arrests which are outside the provisions of the law. But I don't have details about those individuals who are being netted suits, and if there are charges that are preferred against them, then the process due course. But the caution we just give is that let's remain law-abiding, let's remain peaceful. If you are about your work, your daily work, or activities, whether you belong to opposition or the ruling party, there should be no problem at all. You are here attending a press after this press briefing? No, because you are not engaged in any criminal activity. And the arrests, if any, do not necessarily follow your political persuasion. Even if you are NRM and you engage in criminal activities, police may arrest you. Or if you are opposition. So crime, most often, is not based on your political beliefs, but your actions if you engage in crime. But the police and security agencies should not just arrest people without reasons. You should arrest somebody when there is a genuine reason as to why that person is being arrested. Arrest him or her lawfully, and if he's to be detained, then it should be in the gazetted detention centers, and then the law take its course. Tamulangira is saying the NRM government is the one disorganizing Ugandans. Well, I don't know. Yeah, there may have been challenges regarding how NRM organizes internal elections, the structure elections, as well, and raise the concerns. I would say rigging elections to that effect. You cannot say, for instance, those who have been elected, majority are NRM, that we who have won have done so through rigging. We have been voted